Welcome back, guys. So on the radiator, here we go. I think I'm going to do mounting the grill shell and the radiator together kind of as a thing, because kind of goes together. Really putting this in wasn't bad. It's just fabricating a bracket, you know. First thing I'll always do, however, with the radiator when it's new and nice, still nice fins, just wrapping it up with the cardboard, right? So cut some of that out. And then really from there, back to cardboard. Traced out a template that's just gonna fit nicely on there. The frame rails, I'll try and take a picture of it, how they go on an angle, which is the only difficulty of really getting the bracket to work in this. Once the template was made up though, pretty easy. Just fired up the plasma cutter, right? Cut it out an 1/8 inch plate, drilled my holes, kind of added a couple little curves to it just to mimic what we've got going on with the frame, so that when you look down and in, it just has that, just a little detail to it, you know, nothing too fancy. Right on. So everything went in, like I said, well with that. It's now bolted. So let me grab the light. It's now bolted right here and here on the bottom to the frame. And then there's two more mounts, as you can see, right down the very bottom, holding the radiator itself to the plate. We've got our water neck on the correct side now, the lower hose, which was the whole debacle here to make things happen. Right on. So brings us to the grill shell. So now it's quite a particular grill here. This grill is supposed to float. So it's called a floating grill, as what Hudson called it back when. What I've done here is just cut a couple pieces of, you know, the pool noodle stuff. Slide those over it. So what that's going to do is boost the grill up off of the fenders so that everything is floating. When we are done, I'm still going to be adding a black rubber stripping just to close in the gap from the fenders. So it'll still be up in the air, but it's going to just be a little bit more secure that way. So this really helps me splitting the sides off evenly here to where I want to be for the actual grill spacing. So I've been thinking what I want to do here for this. There are some holes in the back here. I don't know if I have all the parts for this or what, but those holes by the crank hole on the actual grill, they were not drilled out on the inside here of this step. So either way, I'm working with what I've got here, and it seems to be fitting pretty nicely the way it's sitting like this. So I'm going to go with it here. So my plan is I'm going to remove this front screen and then drill my holes down at the bottom there and actually mount that to the front piece we were just looking at. From there is where the fun's going to begin. So I want to close up this gap. I want to close up this gap, kind of running around. Reason being is, like, when you're actually going to be inside the vehicle looking out, you know, I just want it to also look smooth that way. You're not necessarily going to see it through the radiator as much. You know, it'll still be there, but not going to see it as much. So my game plan here, I'm going to cut up some cardboard again, make a nice template that kind of hugs tight to the radiator shell, maybe space it back about 1/4 inch, and then You know, eventually it's going to get welded on the inside, and then these mounting brackets here will be able to go to the extra shrouding I'm going to be making for it. So just a part of this here along the line that I wanted to include as usual here, you know, just trying to fill in the blanks of what's happening with it, mounting it. So cool. So next was building the shroud. Here I'm just scribing out the template for start. Just as easy as what it looks like, just push the cardboard up there. Now, kind of just made pieces of cardboard from that, hot gluing it together and putting it in place. Kind of just like welding it in place there, but once I liked where we were fitting, here we go, plasma cut. Forgive me, the audio that was supposed to happen here didn't work out, so we're doing a voiceover. So basically transferred that template, reversed it onto a piece of wood and just created a buck here out of 2x10. Now, a friend taught me a while ago here with a piece of round bar with a slot down the middle. That will keep a controlled edge just for what we're going to be creating here. So stepping it and creating the edge straight. And then really, once we start hammering next, it's just maintaining the edge to where it is. So this is only 16 gauge that I'm using. So it really isn't hard to form. It's just being consistent, tapping it, taking your time, and keeping things straight. If it was anything more, I would have probably built the same thing, two sides of a buck, and then really screwed it together so it wouldn't go anywhere. But this metal was shaping out really easily, so things went just fine with it. Once this was fully shaped, then obviously the outside edge where it's going to be resting on the inside of the grill here, grill shell, that got cut out. So here's a little sandblast, just prepping the edge really where I'm going to be welding. Everything's going to sit and kind of clip into place there, get welded, tagged off. Really getting in there, just, you know, taking my time, not warping anything. Really just welding it. You can get a look here of that area that we sandblasted now and what we're going for. So it just sits in that step, everything's flush. It just fits nice and straight. So at this point, just test fitting that things will be going how we want. And of course at the end, there's going to be 2 bars running across the top of the rad shell here up onto the front firewall of the truck. You know, when you see the 34 Fords and stuff out there, you'll get what I'm saying, a couple bars across the top, but holes all line up here that we have drilled out for mounting it. Just putting it together really without the grill, getting the first look here at the mock-up, how it's going to be, you know, floating grill. So it's a floating grill. The idea here was mainly just the view here sitting inside the truck, that, you know, I want to see out the window and I want to see just not a big gaping hole in that there, right? So see what I'm saying now? A nice even 1/2 inch all the way around the rad to that piece of metal that we have now, just straight all the way around it. Those aluminum tabs, I bent them back and basically made a mount. I put a couple studs on the back of that metal that we just put in, and that's how it fits. And now it's bolted in there, secure. Thanks for watching it, checking it out. Another piece of the puzzle done.